Good morning, it's Nikki, the Viking from Two Tribes Primal Living, and today I'm going solo, so no Apache with me this morning. I have a want or a desire to talk to you guys about negativity and how it can impact the off-grid lifestyle, or even minimizing your lifestyle, or even just living a regular lifestyle. So right now within our nation or within our country, there's a strong division. It's ever present with politics. People pick a side. People blame a president. They blame a political party. They blame a leader for making a poor or bad decision, when in fact all of these entities are actually one. They communicate within one another. It is a dog and pony show for the vast majority of you guys to be controlled and be divided. So that being said, it doesn't mean that the issues are not real. It just means that you guys are controllable through division, and therefore there's a greater sense of division on the planet because you are controllable. So there's those of us who are not necessarily on one side or the other. You might call us fencers. We're not really fencers. We're just awake and aware, and we understand what's going on the planet and what's going on in the world. So with that being said, when we have a nation divided, when we have division, then we have a lot of hate and anger and animosity and resentment. Whenever one side is doing something that we don't like, we end up getting upset at them, and we blame them, or we blame their leader, or we blame even when we make fun of. And then you've got another side who may be more inclined to ignore or refute or look backwards, look at past history and past data. Yes, history can repeat itself, very much so, but a lot of times it's because we haven't become awakened and aware of what we're doing and what we should have done 10 years ago, what we should have done 5 years ago, what we should do 3 years ago, and what we should be doing now in terms of resources. So in terms of what's dividing the nation in the past 12 hours or 15 hours, whether it be media hype or closures, major events being shut down, which I completely agree with. So I'm part of that team, I guess. I agree with it for the safety of my elders. I agree with it for the safety of not spreading further than it needs to, because people can't seem to manage themselves. They are more concerned with those things. But my husband, Albert, the Apache, he did a video yesterday, and it reflects that very well. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Very important video. Says some good stuff. How do we deal with this division? So you're on one side or the other. Well, I don't like to be on one side or the other because I don't agree with everything on both sides. So I like to kind of stay in the middle and formulate my own decisions based on my own intuition. I formulate my own decisions based on my own knowledge and experience, perspective, not so much beliefs, because I don't really have an attachment to a lot of belief systems, but I do have an attachment to myself, because that's the biggest and best relationship I can have. So trusting in myself and trusting what is deep within my soul, that I know I don't need validation. I don't need to know what other people think is right or wrong. I'm aware of what's right and wrong. Therefore, I am in control of my choices. And I protect myself. I've been protecting myself for quite some time, and this new thing going on has not changed that. So me being in alignment with myself has given me the direction I need to stay the game or stay on my path. And it prevents me from being sucked into these vortices of division. Left or right side, hot or cold, bumpy or smooth. I focus more on what is right for me, what is right for my body, what is right for my family, what is right for my health, my wellness. And it doesn't include telling you what's right for your body, your family, your health, your wellness. We all make choices. Albert is a perfect example of, you don't need someone to help you recover from alcohol. You stop drinking alcohol. It's that easy. And if you have the will and desire and the value for yourself, then you stop whatever it is you're doing that's toxic, that's killing you, that's bringing you sickness. You just stop those practices. And that's a hard thing. That's a hard concept for most people to understand, that, wow, we have that power within ourselves. And so getting in alignment with ourselves means staying our path. It means understanding who we are and what drives us from the most fundamental levels, and what our path is, no matter what spiritual belief system we may or may not have, no matter what government support we may or may not receive, no matter what political side we may or may not be on. So that being said, the relationship with ourself is the best way to get in alignment. Most of us are attached to our spouses, we're attached to our children, we're attached to tradition, we're attached to family, we're attached to our jobs, the nice car, the house, all of those things. We've talked about those, but we're not even, we don't value ourselves enough. We will sit in a line for 2 hours for Raising Cane's chicken, fried chicken, which is horrible for the body, because we want to be part of, we want that identity. We want to say we've done something great, which is that's about as dumb as you can be. Showing that we don't really have value for the self. We don't have value for our health. We don't have value for our well-being. We don't have value for our time. We don't have respect for our own time. And we're putting that energy into something that's making us sick versus that energy into something that's making us well or helping us prevent. And that being said, being able to get in a relationship with yourself helps you get in a relationship with the present. So one of my mentor and one of my greatest girls, she's my girl crush. She wrote this morning passionately on getting in a relationship with the land and your food sources and your health. How do you formulate those relationships? Do you want to be sick? Do you want to be broken? I know people who are recovering from major trauma who are sitting back smoking and drinking still, which your body cannot. I'm sure they're not taking ample amounts of vitamin C to help with those tissues healing. So they're not really healing well. And that's a frustration for me as a wellness coach, because it reveals that they don't really value themselves. There's something inside that's not being addressed, not the outside, but the inside. And that relationship with ourself helps us formulate the relationship with our own value, which helps us formulate relationship with the land and our food. And we take care of ourselves. We get our shit right. We take care of what we need to take care of. And we're not so worried about what they're doing or what they're saying or what they're saying. But we're getting into a relationship with ourselves, in alignment with ourselves, and pulling in those resources that we need for ourselves and our family. My husband said it the other day, as a man, it's his job to protect his family. Well, I am his family, and so he will protect me at all costs, and I am the same with him, so I will protect him at all costs. That being said, we are in a relationship with ourselves so that we can be in alignment and keep each other healthy and strong and uplifted as much as possible. Whenever we're divided, either him and I are divided because we got a lot of stress going on right now with all the move, it's hard to support one another whenever we're divided and one of them telling the other that they are acting like weak children or not being nice or whatever we're saying to one another that may make them not feel good, calling each other bitchy or calling each other moody or calling each other critical or calling each other weak or emotional or whatever we say to one another when we're in that state of division. It creates conflict within us. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't help us grow as a couple, but in terms of protecting one another, we have to get back in alignment and find what growth and get rid of what doesn't serve us as one. And that's what we need to do as a whole as well. But we're not doing that. We're staying divided as a nation. We're staying divided as a globe. And, to be able to change that, you have to get in alignment within the self and formulate that relationship with the self. So Um, what I like to do is I like to highlight my relationship with me, my relationship with what I've overcome, because I think that's relative to survival and warrior strength and the masculine energy that we all should possess in perfect balance and harmony with the feminine energy that we should possess. But being in alignment with myself helps me not worry so much about what she's saying over here about, oh, I can't believe this was closed down, these guys are assholes, this is a stupid decision, everyone's panicking, or what they're saying over here, oh my God, we need to hole up and hide out in our underground cavern for months. There's division, and there's variance in between that come into where the awake and the where are. Have I protected myself? Have I prepped myself? Do I understand what I'm dealing with? Do I understand the facts associated with what I'm dealing with? Or am I watching the bobbleheads or the talking heads or the people on the screen that the media put out and the questions asked there? Am I focused on that? Because then I am not in alignment with myself. I'm letting others make decisions for me. So when I focus on myself and not on others, then I'm not as likely to get on bandwagons of fanaticism or strong, harsh belief systems. And that's really super duper important. In the off-grid world, that's going to be important because belief systems are like, oh my gosh, I don't have running water. How am I going to? It's drama. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? You know what? I'm a warrior. I've got this. I do have running water, by the way, so it's not like I don't have access to running water. And you know, some of you couldn't handle it. That's fine. You're attached. I'm not, and so it's not a big deal for me. Focus on the present. Focus on what's in front of you. Focus on protecting yourself. Focus on what you can control, and stop focusing on what he said, what my ex said, what this person said, what my girlfriend said. Stop focusing on what he said, she said. Stop focusing on, well, the NIH says this, or the WHO says this, or the CDC says this, because you're getting delayed information anytime you get any of that information. Yeah, there's panic and hype that goes along with it. It's often misinformation, and people, you know, they can get misinformation. It's your responsibility to educate yourself, not your responsibility to educate everyone else about the details and the facts, because you're no expert. Well, all of a sudden we've all become experts and we know that so-and-so said this. I don't care if you're a nurse, an infectious control physician, or a scientist. You don't know what you're dealing with until you know what you're dealing with. And so 13 days ago, and I like to say this, 13 days ago we were told as a United States that this is no big deal. 15 got it. We're going to be down to 1 tomorrow. No big deal. There was a huge energy of arrogance and complacency that went along with that message. 13 days later, last night, we are now in a pandemic and we are shutting the borders off to all European travel. Yeah, I'm sure people that are traveling right now in Europe are like, oh, I've got to get back. I don't want to get stuck over here. Sure, we'll take care of those on an individual basis. So, you know, they may end up going into quarantine. Who knows? But my point being that all that energy is going into that division, and we're focused on all of that instead of focused on ourselves. So when we can get right with ourselves and align with ourselves, we can get right with anything, and we don't panic, we don't fear. I don't fear. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of them. I'm not scared of this. I'm doing from within what is necessary to protect myself from without. And I think that is the message that we need to get out there. When you take care of yourself and you're not worried about what he said, she said, and you're not stressed about what they're doing or what they're not doing, and you're focused on you, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with the land, your relationship with the air and the earth and the fire, and your circle of closeness, then and you stay aligned with that, then you don't have to worry about what's getting canceled and what's not getting canceled and what's going to throw. I saw a comment yesterday. Someone was saying something about the stock show in Houston being canceled, and these people are stupid, and I'm never ever going to Houston again, and bullshit. And I've heard people say that when we came down to the division in the NFL, and they were like, I'm not ever watching NFL. They're the first person I see posting about the football games now. So, you know, people are a lot of talk, and it's not what you say, it's what you do. And so you can talk, you can write, you can speak, you can put it all out there. You can be angry, you can blame, you can make jokes, you can be an idiot. That's up to you. That's your choice. But it's what you do and how you physically act and what you do to protect yourself and the relationship with yourself that actually matters. So that being said, as we head off grid in 2 weeks, as we head out to the wild, you're going to see more videos of what we're doing here, and you're going to see more updates about how this is going for us, and you're going to see a lot more excitement and joy over being able to do and not just talk about doing. So that being said, like our video. Make sure you watch Albert's video from yesterday. Really important video in light of the topic of what's going on in the nation and the world right now. And subscribe. Leave a comment. You know, I like both sides, so if you have something to say, but try to be respectful. You don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be condescending. Everyone's got an opinion, and I think we can all get along in our own opinions and our own rights, our own choices that we make, because we're all on a different journey. So you don't have to be an asshole. You can say what you want to say. And that being said, I will see you next video, or I may not. He may be on the next video. And look for us, follow us, and enjoy our journey. Bye.